This meeting is being live streamed now.
Okay, go ahead, Paul. Give us.
All right, let me find it where I put it. There it is. You're gonna go wow, 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 wow.
Ruby tune.
So, I see you didn't put up the screen. It's just the three of us sitting there, so that's good.
That's it. Yep. That's
It's a
good.
change. I tell you, Mike, when we're doing the intro music and you're doing the piano thing you like to do on that thing, it reminds me of John Candy on Planes, Trains, and Automobiles when he's driving through the thing, and then the song where he starts to play the saxophone and all that. That's what that reminds me of. Every time I see it, I think of John Candy. So.
Nothing wrong with John Candy.
Oh no, but it's a good thing. I love John Candy. He's gone far too soon, that guy.
Yeah. A lot of them are.
They are a good one. Yep. Okay, well, good evening, everybody, and welcome to our Sunday night offering of Astronomy Outreach for January the 29th. Excuse me. Okay. The Sunday Night Astronomy Show.
Frank Sinatra coming out of him.
Yeah.
No singing, no singing. My name is Chris Kerwin. I'm the creator and admin of the social media channels known as Astronomy by the Bay. I'm an amateur astronomer and member of the Royal Astronomical Society of Canada. First of all, I'd like to welcome back our two regular co-hosts for the Sunday Night Astronomy Show, Mr. Mike Powell from the PFO Observatory here in beautiful St. John. Welcome, Mike.
Hey.
And our other regular co-host here on the program, Mr. Paul Owen from the Moonshadow Observatory in beautiful Hampton.
Here, I'll use that hand there. There we go.
There it is.
The left hand.
Okay. On tonight's episode of the Sunday Night Astronomy Show, last week we discussed what astronomers might do when cloudy conditions are keeping you inside. But we did leave out one thing, or actually a few things. We're going to talk about one tonight, which is going to lead to tonight's conversation. Maintaining or upgrading equipment can make an evening of observing a pleasing experience. Cleaning lenses, mirrors, and other optical equipment can provide a whole new view of the night sky, but there are important steps to consider before attempting any of it. Now, on tonight's discussion segment, we'll take a look at what things to consider, as well as the recommended procedures for having your equipment at its optimal performance. Also tonight, Final Bud will return with another fine binocular target of the week. Paul will deliver another interesting Rosanna's Fun Facts segment. Paul's also got an astrophotography tip of the week to offer this week. We'll have a look at what's coming up in the night sky this week, including a little bit about that comet we've all not seen. And I'll have your wonderful photo submissions as well to share. So this is the family-friendly interactive live broadcast. So for those of you joining us from my YouTube channel or Facebook page, we're happy to try and answer all of your astronomy questions in real time as well. And of course, we'd like to welcome all of those who have been joining us through the local Rogers TV network. Thank you for your support. Okay, guys, let's get started then with tonight's program and a look at cleaning up that gear.
All right, we're going to let Mike. I'm curious what he's going to do.
So to begin, whenever you want to know how to do something, or you think there's something wrong with it, instead of going to see your doctor, you just Google it, right?
Mhm.
So looked at how do you clean an eyepiece, and I went to the Teleview site, and boy, I tell you, he goes through some stuff, and I said there's got to be an easier way. So of course I Googled it, and I found Dr. Von Scrubber, and I thought, wow, this guy's cool. He teaches you how to clean an eyepiece. So very quickly, I'm going to show you what I learned by Google on how to clean an eyepiece. So I'm just going to tip my camera down here because I can show you very closely. You should see my desk if I get it just right. So the first thing I had to start with, let me get this on there. There we go. First thing I had to start with, they said you should, get some distilled water. Well, I did. I took water from my tap and I let it sit still for an hour, so it should be distilled.
Chris,
right?
can you pin?
Sure, again. Yep. I think I can. If I remember how.
Just right. So that's distilled water to me. Is I took water, let it sit still for a while, and now it's distilled. Then they said, well, you should add a couple of drops of alcohol. So I figured, what the heck? Clean my windshield with windshield washer fluid. So I poured some windshield washer fluid into there too. So that gives me my distilled water and my alcohol. Now, they say, should gently get your eyepiece. And this is my eyepiece, by the way. It's a 20 millimeter Celestron Plazal that I use for public observing. And yep, it's got some kiddie stuff left on it where you're out in a cold winter day and the kids look at your eyepiece and they get some stuff on it. I thought, how do I clean that off? So with my water that sat still for a while, that's the word distilled water, and my alcohol that comes from windshield washer fluid, because if it's good for your windshield, it's got to be good for your eyepiece, right? Then you just plop her in the water like that. Just chuck her right in. Let her go. Let it sit there. Oh yeah. By the way, it said add some soap. So the only soap I had in the house was a bar of Irish Spring. So I put some Irish Spring shavings in there too, just to give me the soap in order to clean it off. So drop her in there, get her nice and wet, right? Then it says, well, you should have a lint-free cloth. Well, I went looking through stuff and I found a nice scouring pad here, and I looked it all over. It's got no lint on it, so it's a lint-free cloth. And I grabbed it, and you start scrubbing like this. You scrub hard and get that, kid stuff off it and shove it in here and get it all. And, you think you got it. Well, no, there's still some spots on it. Hold on. I guess if it's good for everything else, magic eraser's got to be good for your telescope or your eyepieces. So you dip that in the water and you start going at it with some magic eraser here. That's going to magically erase those kiddies things off and get it all good. Well, no, there's still some marks left on it somehow. I don't understand how they got there after I used distilled water, a lint-free scrubbing cloth, because there's no lint on my cloth. Magic eraser didn't create something? SOS pad. That's got to take the snot off it. So you take an SOS pad and you scrub it like this. You scrub in the bottom like that. Make sure you get it good. Get it in right in there and twist it and get it all, shake it all off, and dip it back into your mixture of windshield washer fluid and Irish Spring soap and distilled water, because it sat still for a while. And you get it all good. You scrubbed it all off. Then why use a nice clean cloth? Why not go with a cloth that's already dirty? Because it's going to get dirty anyway. So you grab a dirty cloth and you clean it and you rub it in nice and tight like that. And you get your finger right in there and you give it a couple of twists like this. You wash it all off, and guess what? One spotless, believe it or not, eyepiece. That's how Google teaches you to clean your eyepieces. Now, if you interpret Google different than I do, send your comments. It's glad to hear. But that's just like going to Dr. Google to find out what's wrong with you. That's how Dr. Von Scrubber teaches you to clean an eyepiece. So there you go.
I would never have guessed.
That don't get it clean, nothing will.
That's hilarious. Love it. Come on, grab your telescope. Do it again with the telescope.
My corrector plate's even better. I got it recorrected because I took an SOS pad to it. Now I get star spikes like you never seen.
Yeah, and Hubble's going to be, or not Hubble, but James Webb's going to be looking for you, asking you how you got those.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it gives you that nice visual effect afterwards, right?
Well, Mike broke his mirror just like Hubble did, all those pieces, and put it all back together. So he's got
if in New Brunswick, if you're going to take images through the clouds, you might as well have a cloudy scope to begin with, right?
Oh, that is so funny.
Okay, that's one way to do it.
So that's how I learned to clean an eyepiece from Google, anyway.
Well, anyway, folks, don't do that at home.
Yes, don't do this at home.
There are better ways.
Actually turned out pretty good, though, tell you the truth.
Yeah. You got those coatings right off, man. That's good.
But the coatings are on the
It had
inside,
that-
don't they
that
tell you?
green- Had that green scum on it, and that green scum had to come off, right?
Get it all in there. Anyway, that's a.
Oh, that's great.
We've all done that and cleaned it.
I'm surprised you didn't pull out red, green, and use some duct tape to clean it too. So
That's what's going to hold it together after it comes apart. You take it apart, take the pieces of lens out, and you get those inside spots really good with the SOS pad, and you put it all back together again.
that's hilarious. There is a guy that's online, and he is with. I think he's related to Teleview or something. I don't know the connection, but he licks his eyepieces and wipes them off.
And wipes them off.
That's what,
Yeah.
and his are like, the big $500-600 Teleview scopes, and that's how
Big ethos.
Yeah, that's how he cleans them. Yeah. Again, not suggesting to do so, but
That's what's his name? Nagler.
Nagler, yeah.
Nagler. He's the guy that cleans them with his t-shirt.
Yeah.
Because I make him under clean them with my t-shirt. So
that's too funny.
They do have pretty good coatings on them. I mean, really, they are really tough. There's no doubt. I mean, with all this stuff that's been going around the pandemic and everything, and when we've been offering outreach, I've been cleaning eyepieces in between each person. And just,
I think I got to send a note to Celestron saying you made actually one tough eyepiece there. If the SOS pad didn't kill it.
No, that's right.
Well, that gets that tough grime off anyway.
yeah.
Yeah.
I probably wouldn't do that to my lens, to my.
Well, that's how you translate Google, right? Don't believe everything you read on Google.
Yeah, well, that's it.
Well, I think Paul's going to show us a different way.
Yeah. I think we're gonna do something what we actually truly would recommend. It won't be as funny as Mike's, but one of these days we're going to destroy a telescope here on this show, and that's going to be a ball.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Or at least a video of it.
Yeah. That's coming. All right. So what I'm going to talk about, actually, I'm going to demonstrate, and on my tip a little bit later, and we can talk about whatever dust is and when not to clean. But I just want to demonstrate, because I know a lot of people now are buying these little 61 millimeter telescopes, and this will work the same for any kind of lens, not a mirror, but a lens. And so I'm just going to clean this. I'm going to show you how to clean it. I've done it before, and I'll do it again because it's really quite simple. But for those who are just getting in new refractors and they might be a little afraid of cleaning their lens, it's really a very simple thing to do. So the first thing you're going to do, of course, is pull off your cover and expose the lens. Make sure that you have as close to the lens ability as you can. Like, don't take the end off of your scope and then pop it on there, and then try to clean around that. If your lens will unscrew, if the lens cell will unscrew, take it right out, because you can do both sides if you want to or if you need to. But again, only if you need to. But I'll cover that later. So basically, what you have here is a piece of glass. It's curved, of course, and
Maybe you could highlight Paul there.
I did. Yep, just did.
Okay.
Okay, and there are coatings on that glass. So unlike Mike, I'm not going to take a scouring pad to mine. So what we're going to do first is we want to get rid of the particulate that might be on there. And that could be a number of different things. You might have had, like if we go to star parties, for example, lots of times we're in a field and there's cars that are actually driving around us. So in the daytime, there's dust and stuff in the air. In the nighttime, there's moisture. So lots of times, a lot of that dust will get captured in the moisture and sit on your lens. So the first thing you want to do is, once the lens is dry, of course, is to get rid of that particulate first. So there's two ways to do it. You can use an aerosol like this. This one's just called blow up, but I mean, it's an aerosol. If you use an aerosol like this, there's a very important thing that you need to remember is don't shake the can while you're doing it, because there's actually vapors in the can that will come out in the form of moisture. It will get on your lens, and you're going to have to clean that too. So don't do that. What you do with this kind of a can is hold it, spray it a few times. Do not shake the can. Once you've sprayed it a few times, anything that's sitting in there that might have been something that's in the can that can get on your lens is now gone. Then all you do is just point it towards your lens. And as you can see, I'm not shaking, I'm just blowing towards the lens. That should take care of a lot of the really loose particulate. Once you've got that done, then you're going to grab your, you can get these little camel hair brushes. You can go to, if you don't have one, you don't have to buy a kit to get one. You can go to any drugstore, go to their makeup department, and you can buy camel hair brushes there, and they're very, very nice ones too. And they'll work beautifully. So you want something that's, that's like a camel hair, very, very fine and very soft. Once you've done the air portion of it, if you're going to do that, if you don't have a can like that, you can buy one of these blowers, and you should have one of these anyway. And again, you can just do the same thing as I just did with the can, but you can do it with the blower. All right, so just make sure that anything that's loose on there is off. Once you've got that done, then take your little brush and just give it a little brush. Just anything that maybe the air didn't get, this will kind of move and get it off your lens. So now we're ready to to start to clean the lens. So cleaning lenses is not, don't ever be afraid to do this, especially now with the coatings, because the coatings are so much better now than what they were even 5 years ago, but they're really, really good now. So what you're going to need is a couple of, excuse me, things you can get. Let's just make sure I got paper in this before I say get this. Here we are. So when you buy a kit, this one is an Orion kit, and it says OptiCleanse Premium Grade Optical Tissue. So it's actually paper made for this type of cleaning application. You can use this on your camera lenses too, by the way. So all you would do is you would take off a piece of this tissue, and you're going to fold it once, and you're going to fold it twice, and you're going to have yourself a nice edge right along here. Then when you buy your fluid, you can get this stuff that'll come with it, which is just basically cleaner fluid. It's called formula. Everybody's got their names for it, but to be totally honest, it's just a good glass cleaning fluid. And then you just put a few drops on that. Once you've got the drops on it, you're going to take your fingers and you're going to put them behind where the drops are. Now let me see if I can just show you right on the top. You can see that where it's darker, that's where the drops are now. So I'm just going to take and put my fingers behind where the drops are. And I'm simply going to go in a circular motion that way. I'm going to turn it around because it sopped right through, and I'm going to go the other way. And I will continue to do this until I get the lens looking relatively clean. Now, you will have streaks. That is not to be worried because you'll never see the streaks anyway, but once you've got that done, the final cleaning that this is my personal way to do it, and I like to do it, I use what we call Eclipse Cleaner. And this Eclipse Cleaner, let me just show that to you because you can buy this, you can order it. Chris, I think you just ordered some not long ago. And this stuff is absolutely fabulous because what it does, this is actually methanol. And methanol will take any streak residue that you had left from cleaning your lens completely off with very little effort. And instead of using that same cloth, I actually bought what they call PEC pads. And you can get the PEC pads at the same place you buy that Eclipse Cleaner. This bag I've had for probably 4 years now. So this stuff lasts. When you buy it, you get a ton of it. So then what you're going to do is take out one of your PEC pads. And one's all you need. For a lens like this, oh my gosh, it takes virtually nothing to do. Same procedure. Fold it once. Fold it twice. Create your edge. And then with this, you only need a couple of drops. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's it. That's all the fluid you're going to use. Put your fingers behind it and do that same circular pattern that you did with the other cleaning. But what you're going to notice is as soon as you do that, you'll see these little streaks that are on the glass and they'll just disappear in front of your eyes. It just absolutely cleans it like nobody's business. And again, almost just flip that over. And that's it. Now my lens is sparkly, clean, ready for a night of observing. I don't have to worry about that now until the next time. But virtually that's all you have to do with a lens. So if your refractor is a little one like this, a 6-inch, if you're using a Schmidt-Cassegrain telescope like these ones back here, the piece of glass that is in the front is actually a lens. So this technique that I showed you here will apply to your Schmidt-Cassegrain, your Max Sutoffs, your refractors, anything that's got a lens in it. you can do this type of cleaning to it. Mirrors are a whole different thing, which we'll get into maybe in another show. So that's it. So that's basically how you clean a lens. Very simple, very easy to do, and don't be afraid to do it.
Absolutely. Don't be afraid. That's a big.
I should have watched you first.
Well, you influenced me. Now I'm going to feel bad.
It doesn't matter, Mike. You would have done it your way anyway. It doesn't matter.
There we go. There, that's the job done. Now, when I go use that telescope, it's ready to go.
Yeah.
Want to borrow an eyepiece? Nice and clean.
I know it's going to be clean.
Yeah, I bought the same kit, Paul, like you said, the Eclipse cleaner and the
Yeah.
these are sensor cleaners too. So
Yep.
yeah,
If you go to Star Arizona, Dean Koenig, who's the founder of Star Arizona, he will actually he's got a video online at how to clean your Schmidt Cassegrain corrector plate, and he does it very, very well, step by step. It's just so easy to follow. Once you see him do it, then you'll take any fear that you have of cleaning your corrector plate will be gone.
Yeah.
I guess I don't need that wire wheel on my Dremel then.
Well, not for this. Yeah, just loving the segment. Costco have some excellent lens cloths as well in the eyewear department. So there you go. Yeah, in the eyewear department, you would certainly get the same thing. How often do you use this procedure? Only, you know something, Renat? It's not something that you would do very often.
Yeah, I'm going to cover that in my segment.
I was going to cover that in the segment.
Never shine a flashlight on your optics. End of story.
Don't shine a flashlight on it. You'll see dirt. You'll never see that dirt through the telescope, so don't worry about it. Eyepieces may be different. Eyepieces, you are going to get dirt on those, and they are important to keep clean for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, okay. Awesome. Thanks, Paul. Any other questions here from anybody out there? Just let us know. I'm watching questions here both on Facebook and YouTube if you have any. So I think we're ready to move on.
Yeah.
No, that's great information. I haven't used the pec pads yet. I've been kind of waiting until you were going to offer to do my telescope for me.
Yeah. They're really nice.
Yeah.
All those pads are wonderful. They really are.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to doing it someday.
That's good stuff.
Okay. All right. How about we go ahead with a vinyl bud maybe next?
Vinyl bud next. No SOS pads. Host has disabled participant sharing screen.
Oh, I can fix that. Just a minute. There you go.
Humble.
This one, I think. Share. We should see Bino Bud.
Yes.
Well, binocular target of the week this week by Bino Bud is, and this is the very first binocular target I did, by the way. M42, the Orion Nebula.
Yes, sir.
What do I drop? Over the bell. So the Orion Nebula, also known as Messier 42, is a diffuse nebula situated in the Milky Way, being south of Orion's belt in the constellation of Orion. It is one of the brightest nebula and visible to the naked eye in the night sky. It's 1,344 plus or minus 20 light years away, and is the closest region of massive star formation to the Earth. M42 Nebula is estimated to be 24 light years across and a mass of about 2,000 times that of our sun. That's pretty cool. So if I look around to find it, where do I find it? Everybody knows this constellation Orion. It's the one night sky in the winter constellation everybody knows. Look for Orion's belt, those three stars in the middle, and come just down from that and you'll find M42. It stands out bright. How do I find it in the sky? If you went out at 10 o'clock tonight and it was not cloudy and oriented yourself 190 degrees south-southwest, guess what? Orion would be directly in your field of view. You look up again, find Orion's belt, those three stars in the middle. They're lined up the same way that the Egyptian pyramids are. You look down from that and you will find M42, the great Orion Nebula. This is what it would look like if you could see it in color. Beautiful, probably the single most photographed object, if nothing else. In 10 by 50 binoculars, it's more of a little bit black and white smudge, but you can make out some detail the longer you look at it. It's a pretty bright object and it's not hard to see. You'll know it's a nebula when you look at it. And if I was to compare it to the full moon, there's the full moon compared to M42. It's almost the same size as a full moon, believe it or not. It doesn't look that way when you're looking at the full moon, look across and see Orion, but guess what? It's actually about the same size. So that's a pretty big object when you think of it that way. And everything looks so far away. Welcome to public observing.
Hey, Mike, and you know what? Go back to the picture for a sec. Can you go back to that picture?
I can. Back.
Look, she's not only is she looking in the wrong way, but she's looking over by Buddy sitting in the chair in the wheelchair.
Well, that's true too. And somebody's gonna have to clean those
The
up.
angle is pointing the other way.
Somebody's got to clean the optics when she's done. That's binocular target of the week by Bino Bud.
Awesome. Thanks, Mike.
Oh, I stopped sharing here. There we go.
Okay, awesome. That's the prominent one out there for sure.
That was the first one I ever did.
Yeah, cool. Okay, yeah, we can either do a astrophoto or a Rosanna. What would you prefer?
I'll do the photo thing and get that out of the way.
Okay, and then I'll do what's up maybe right after you.
Yeah. Okay. All
I
right.
can
So
key another eyepiece if you want.
What's
I
that?
can key another eyepiece if you want.
That one ready? Yeah.
all right. So I'm just going to do just on my astrophotography tip of the week. It's basically what you should and should not do when it comes to cleaning. And what is important to clean and what is not important to clean. So that's kind of what we're just going to roll through. So I'm just going to roll through a few slides and give you some examples as to what and when you should clean. So I'm just going to share my screen over there. Okay, so have a look at that. What do you see?
Yike.
There's a whole bunch of donuts all over that image, isn't there? Not to mention star trails and everything else. So the point of that image was something about flats, but that's something different. We're not talking about that. I just want you to look at those little dust donuts. Those dust donuts will never appear when you're observing because you're looking right through them. When you're looking at your lens, when you're looking at your mirror, that won't happen for you like this. This will only happen when you're imaging, or to this degree. Now, let me just show you something else. These are just little dust donuts that are sitting on either somebody's filter or somebody's sensor on their camera. You might see something like this if you're taking a picture with your camera and look at all that dust that you see there. That you'll get that. Now that could be on your lens, but usually it's on the camera sensor when you see it like that. That needs to be cleaned. And here's another thing: when you take some pictures, those big spots that you see on your camera when you take a photograph usually are just little tiny pieces of dust that are sitting on your sensor or somewhere's in that chain between your sensor and your lens, and they're going to show up in the form of this. And there's all kinds of software you can use to take it out, but that should be cleaned. And then again, there's another sensor that needs to be cleaned.
Yike.
That needs to be cleaned. This is a mirror. I think this one might be the one you have.
I took an SOS pad to it.
Yeah, now this is a mirror out of a Dobsonian or Newtonian telescope. And this requires cleaning. This is something that is going to affect the contrast more than anything else. You're not going to see all this stuff in your view, but if you're shining it at something very bright, you may see some streaking things going on. Your contrast may not be as good, that kind of stuff. That's pretty dirty, but it would take a lot more than that to really make a huge difference in your mirror. And there's one right there again that needs some cleaning just because it just doesn't look nice. But I bet you if you took that out and looked at someone's telescope all night long, you'd still enjoy the views with it. So again, cleaning is not something that you have to do when you get a little speck of dust on your thing. Now here's an example. This is a refractor telescope, and you can see that there's all kinds of scungy marks on the front of it. And I think they have another picture of a camera lens that's actually cracked and all broke up. You do not see this when you take a photograph, unless you're shooting at something like the sun where you're getting really bright sun stuff in there, you won't see this. And so when we start to worry about our dust, here's one other one here. This is one of my telescopes, actually. This one's got a Petzval in it, and part of the back glass fell out, and it ran all the way up to the front, sitting inside the tube as it was being moved around, scratched the speakers out of the inside of the lens on the telescope. Sent it back to Teleview. They said, don't worry about it. You're not going to have any trouble at all. They cleaned up what they could, and I took this picture with it. I took that picture with it. I took that picture with it. I took... So you will not see that stuff. So when you've got something that looks like this, you probably just want to chuck that away because that's pretty rough. But you can clean it, and that's what they did. They just showed you a before and after picture of how you can clean those things. And like I showed you, it would take a little more time than what I took, but you can do it. So again, what is important to clean? Let's have a look. When you're seeing those things, usually it's on your sensor itself. You get dust on your sensor, unless you're doing what they call calibration frames, you're going to want to clean that. That needs to be cleaned. That needs to be kept clear. A lot of your filters would be the same thing because they're in such close proximity to your sensor, and your optics are very, very tight in that area. Those things will show up in the form of dust bunnies and all kinds of funny lines. They need to be cleaned. And you might want to think about taking a squeeze deal. Mike, I don't know if you thought about this, but give your sensor. But really, sensor cleaning is something for another day. But those things are things that you need to clean. The little bit of dust that we see on our lenses, realistically, don't worry about it because, until it's to the point where it's actually coated and there's big blobs on it, you are not, and even then, you'll still see through it. But you'll always see through that stuff. You're never going to be looking at it because of the magnification and where we actually focus. So anyway, so that's my tip of the week. If you got a little bit of dust on your scope, don't sweat it. You're not going to see it. If you got a little bit of dust on your optics, your filters, and your sensors, you will see that. And that's it. That's my tip of the week.
Awesome, Paul. Renat says, check out for mice in your optics. And I said, well, really, you do get spiders in there, don't you?
Oh my! I got a Ritchie Chrétien telescope here, an 8-inch one, that I had to clean spider webs and everything out of.
Yeah.
It's open, right? So when it sits in the observatory,
right.
Spiders happen, right? The trouble with them is they crap and it's really hard to get their stuff off. Try to get spider poop off the side of it. Yeah.
Magic eraser, that's it all.
We're going to talk about something like this now. Next week, I'll save it for the end of the show, maybe collimation. But anyway, there's a scope with a mirror in it. This is a reflector. You have the refractor and the reflector, and then the SCT. So there's one there. But we would maybe talk about that next week, how to clean that mirror, what we do to get the mirror apart, and how we set it up when we're all done, because there are knobs in the back of the telescope here and screws that hold the mirror in place. And we'll discuss some of that next week.
Yeah.
A little bit more about maintaining in these winter days, which is good because then we can be ready for spring in galaxy season. Okay. Thanks, Paul. Appreciate that.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to go from there then maybe to how about what's up next, and then we'll do a Rosanna right after that.
Okay.
Rosanna's fun facts. Let me get my screen here shared. Which one is it? Oh, it's this one. Okay.
Next slide.
Next slide. Okay, let me try to get it started from the beginning here. And I think I got to flip views. So there.
There you go.
That work? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, what's up this week? Well, there's the view right there. We're going to talk a little bit about the comet, of course, C2022 E3ZTF, the comet that's been in the news so much lately, and the disappointing views that a lot of people have gotten, but some with cameras and telescopes have been getting better views. First of all, let's talk about tomorrow, Monday morning, January 30th. Mercury's at greatest eastern elongation tomorrow. What does that mean? That means that Mercury is in the farthest east in our sky that it can be in the morning sky. I'm sorry, western. I should say western. I shouldn't say eastern. I thought I fixed that. Greatest western elongation. It does say down here. So it's an 88-day orbit. Mercury doesn't get very high above the horizon, and it doesn't spend very much time above the horizon with only 88 days for its orbit. So it's a challenging little target to pick out most of the time, but because it's up just before sunrise or just after sunset, but it's nice to be able to take a look at it through binoculars or a small telescope, and you can see the shape of Mercury. Sometimes you can see Mercury in phases as well. It passes through phases just like our moon does. Anyway, it reaches greatest western elongation of the farthest west that it can appear in our morning sky on Monday. Now, after Monday, Mercury starts to appear lower as it heads back towards the sun. So catch Mercury when you can. Also tomorrow, the moon is going to be near Mars. Tomorrow evening, look for our waxing gibbous moon as it visits Mars in Taurus. Mars has been spending a lot of time in our evening skies while getting dimmer and smaller from our perspective. Of course, we're moving around the sun quicker than Mars is, so it's dragging behind us now. Tomorrow evening, it should rest just about 1 degree above our moon. So there's our view tomorrow evening. This is using stellarium. So here's Orion, pretty easy to find, and shoot up to Taurus. If you take those 3 stars of the belt, they'll send you all the way out to the Pleiades star cluster. Just look right beside them. You've got the moon, the Mars, and Pleiades together. I don't know whether they'll all fit together in a pair of binoculars, but they might fit together in a wide field scope. Nice little target, though. I don't think we have clear skies tomorrow, and I think it's Tuesday for us locally. But anyway, also tomorrow, there is a lunar occultation of Mars. Now, while we witnessed a close approach of the moon and Mars, some will have the opportunity to witness the moon passing in front of or occulting Mars. That opportunity happens for some parts of North America, shown in the image here. If you are in a shaded area, the easiest way to find out is to visit the site inthesky.org and look for occultations. And once you select your own region, you can find out the number of occultations that are coming your way over the next year. Click on each one of them and it'll show you whether or not it's going to be visible in your part of the sky. So part of North America, part of the US and Mexico will be covered with the lunar occultation. We had ours just a little while back, but this is another one. So that's always kind of neat to see. Zoom in really close to the moon and you'll watch Mars disappear behind it. It's not going to be a full moon, so it'll be a little different now because you'll see it disappear sooner because we've got a waxing moon. So it's going to be a little bit different. Also tomorrow night, the lunar straight wall. Now this image is courtesy of Lisa's Lookup. I went and grabbed that picture from Lisa's page. Appreciate it, Lisa. Good way to describe it right here. Also Monday evening, you can look for a special feature on the moon called the lunar straight wall. Now the straight wall, or rupus recta it's called, is a linear fault. Now it's the most well-known escarpment on the moon, and it's a popular target for amateur astronomers as well. But when the sun illuminates the feature at an oblique angle at about day 8 of the moon's orbit, the rupus recta casts a wide shadow that gives it the appearance of a steep cliff. The fault has a length of about 110 kilometers and a typical width of 2 to 3 kilometers and a height of 240 to 300 meters. So although it appears to be a vertical cliff on the lunar surface, it's actually just a grade. The grade of the slope is very shallow, so you really wouldn't hardly realize that you're walking down a slope here. That's just because of the way that light is coming in from the other direction here. And of course, when we go the other way, when we are illuminated on the other side, it would disappear just about. Now back into our talk about Wednesday, February 1st, which is comet C22E3 when it's at its closest approach to us. Now comet C22E3, comets wiki I call it, easier I guess, makes its closest approach to our planet on Tuesday, appearing at about a magnitude 5.5. I've seen some at 5.2. The comet has been difficult to spot for many. It's about 40 times dimmer than Neowise right now. So it's not a very bright comet, and it's diffused out over a larger area, not like a pinpoint star. So that light gets scattered, and it's more difficult for it to concentrate for us to be able to see it. The comet will come to within 42 million kilometers of our planet. That's about 1/4 the distance to the sun on Wednesday. It will then continue on this 50,000-year orbit back out to the Oort cloud again. So we won't get to see it again. It's moving very quickly through the sky right now. I've got a little bit of a map here to show where it's going to be. So here we are. Here's Ursa Major. Here's Ursa Minor. Big and Little Dipper, of course, right? And here's its position on the 26th. Here's where it's going to be on Wednesday. I guess it is Tuesday or Wednesday. Is it Wednesday, February 1st?
Yes, yes,
Wednesday.
yes, it is February the 1st. Groundhog Day on Thursday.
There you go. So there's where it's going to be on Wednesday, and then we're up here on the weekend. Here we are on February 11th, though. I mean, the comet is going to be drifting away from us, so we won't see it as bright as it is now, but it'll be up near the planet Mars. So we might get a nice opportunity if you had a telescope or binoculars that you could capture that view with Mars and the comet together. Kind of neat to get. And then I believe on the 15th, it's going to sit up in here in the Hyades star cluster. So that'll be another nice opportunity to capture it. On Sunday, February 5th, we have a full snow moon. Our full moon, the full snow moon, I guess obviously because of February, rises on Thursday evening at 5:23 p.m. Atlantic time. Now that's 31 minutes after the sunset. So watch the sunset, turn around and watch the moon rise 31 minutes later. By moonrise, the moon will have already passed full, though, with that event happening at about 2:28 p.m. At this time of year, the ecliptic, now that path that the sun and the moon and the planets take across our sky, makes a steep angle with the horizon. And as a result, our moon won't rise until over an hour later each night. So there are times of the year when the moon rises just 20 minutes later each night, but this is not one of them. I want to talk a little bit about the ISS. This is the International Space Station over our particular area. When I go to heavens-above.com, the top right-hand corner, you can select your location. When you do, I punch in St. John and I click on ISS, and it gives me the next number of times that the ISS is going to pass over my area. So tonight it was nice, fairly bright pass at 3.3. Remember, the lower the number, the brighter the object is. Here it is tomorrow night at minus 2.9. Its highest point is 35 degrees, so that's not real high. But if we look at the 31st here, there's up at 87 degrees, so almost directly overhead. And it's going to go from horizon to horizon. So 1857 to 1902. So that's roughly 5 minutes to cover the sky. It'll disappear at 37 degrees. So you won't get to see the whole thing, but you get to see a lot of it. And there's another pass the next night, February 1st at minus 3.6. So these are all evening passes this week and right into next week, which is kind of nice. Always nice to take the kids out and show them that that's the ISS passing over at 8 kilometers per second. And there's a number of astronauts up there looking back at us. Here's the pass that I talk about for January 31st. So this is the pass at 87 degrees, so almost directly right overhead. And it's traveling from northwest over to southeast. So nicely placed, right just above Orion there before it disappears. So always a neat target to check out. Another one I wanted to kind of look at was this, where I get a lot of questions like, what's that bright star in the western part of the horizon right now? And it's the planet Venus, of course. But I'd like to show this chart a little bit to show people what else you can find on this page, Heaven-Above. I clicked on the button called Planets, and this is what it brings me up. So there's the right ascension declination for anybody who has a telescope and they want to find it that way. This is the distance in astronomical units from the sun. Its elongation, its brightness. So brightness, of course, the dimmer the number, the brighter it is. There's minus 3.8. So that would be as bright as the ISS is going overhead on Wednesday night or Tuesday night. There's a constellation that it sits in, all those objects. Here's the rise. These are the ones I pay attention to the most, the rise and set times. So Mercury is rising at 6:25, so just before the sun. And like I said, it rises just before the sun because it's only an 88-day orbit. It sets, though, in the afternoon. Venus, though, is up at 9 o'clock, but it doesn't set until 7:23. So we've got a couple of good hours there to catch Venus. If I rolled here ahead another month, we'd see that Venus sets a lot later, and it's actually getting higher in our sky right now. Mars rises at noontime, and it sets at 4 o'clock the next morning. So it's up all night long. Jupiter, 10 o'clock in the morning, and sets at 22:14. So it's setting a little bit earlier now. Saturn is the one we're losing really for sure. It rises at 1:41 and it sets by, it rises at 8:42 and it sets at 6:41. So it's not visible very much longer. We're going to lose Saturn soon, but we're going to have it back up again around August. And I'm not going to talk about these three. These are naked eye ones. So inferior conjunction, that means that's the point when the planet gets between us and the sun. So Venus doesn't get at that point until August 13th. So you can see here that we have Venus in our evening sky for a long time before we get to this point. If we look at Jupiter opposition, so hey, where are the planets going to be this summer? Jupiter is going to be at opposition in November, which means it'll be in our evening sky all through the fall. We'll have nice views of Jupiter, and Saturn reaches opposition on August 27th, which means July, August, September, October, Saturn will be in perfect viewing position. So nice setup there for those two. Venus's maximum eastern elongation, that's when it's going to be the farthest east that it can be in our sky, is June the 4th. So we get lots of time between now and then. And Mercury's maximum western elongation occurs back on January 30th. So that's all that information, all available on that nice chart that comes from the website Heavens-Above. Here's another peek. I offer this just quickly, just because here's where we are, Earth, and this is this little inlet or inset right here is the 4 inner planets that sit inside this square. Here's the outer ones. There's location of the Mars, Earth, Venus, Mercury, Uranus, Jupiter, Neptune, Saturn, and Pluto even here. So I'm just picturing myself looking down on top of this from above, looking down on the solar system. We rotate counterclockwise from above, and our planet also rotates counterclockwise from above. So if I was to look down on our planet and trying to find out what's in our evening sky or what's in our morning sky, as our planet rotates, if I'm standing here, the first thing I'm going to see is going to be Mercury. And then the sun will come up. And after the sun comes up, the next thing I'm going to see is Venus. Actually, Saturn. Saturn's over here. Saturn's going to be the next thing because it's in line with it. So Saturn, and then Venus, and then Jupiter. And that's how they all line up. If you can look at that map and picture yourself looking down on the solar system, you would know what's up in the night sky at that particular time. So that just takes a little bit of working around with, but the light bulb will come on, believe me. And here's what they look like in our evening sky right now. So Saturn, of course, was way down here near the horizon. Venus is getting brighter each night. It's heading up this direction. Jupiter's heading down this direction. So the two of them are going to meet here about the 1st of March and provide a really nice, that's the second brightest and the 4th brightest object in our sky. So really nice line up there. And then Mars and the Moon. So that's our lineup right now. The planetary parade has moved into our evening sky. For those of you who don't follow Lisa's Lookup, I recommend you do. She's out on Facebook, Instagram, Mastodon, and Twitter. And Lisa's Lookup, she gives us this chart. This is her chart for February now. So we're passing January. And she lists all of the popular events that are coming up here on the left-hand side. In the center, she lists the date, what those events are going to be. Then the peak time for those events after sunset or evening twilight. And then she'll also suggest here naked eye, binoculars, or telescope, what tool you might need to see that object. So go follow Lisa's Lookup, Astronomy and More at Ruby Moonbeams on Instagram, Twitter, Mastodon, and Facebook. Thank you, Lisa, for supplying that chart for us every month. I go to it all the time. And another one I go to is this one, the St. John Astronomy Club chart, or the RASC NB, which is the Royal Astronomical Society of Canada. So this is a calendar that's put out. If you go to sjastronomy.ca, you'll go down the page and you'll see this calendar right there. You can download it. And Kurt Nason puts this all together for us. He describes everything that's happening. Everything that's happening throughout the month. We're into this week now, right here, of course. So he'll describe even transits of moons that are going around the planet Jupiter. There's the comet, its closest approach. Here's different events. So, and also we have a St. John Astronomy Club meeting next Saturday at 7 p.m. for anybody who's in our area that would like to join us. It's all free, admission's free, and they're always a great time. So that's about all we have for this week for the What's Up.
Yeah.
Okay.
I saw that movie.
Yeah, me too.
Oh, that's great.
All right. How about from there, we're going to go to, how about the Rosanna's Fun Facts next?
We can do that.
We're into 8:50 now, so we'll have a little bit, we'll be a little bit over our hour tonight, but not much.
Oh, well.
When are we not?
Yeah.
All right. So now we have this week's
Rosanna's Fun Fact.
Hey, Welcome back, Rosanna, with another absolutely timely and wonderful fun fact. So Rosanna writes, "Hi, Paul. Do you ever have a moment in which someone in a coffee chat or maybe an email states something that makes you pause in confusion as your brain tries to process their statement and you come up with an error 404? There seems to be more and more of these moments with social media, and I've caught wide-eyed and stunned more than once. A January 13th Instagram post showed a screenshot of a tweet from 2 days prior. The tweet stated, "Just a reminder that a volcano in Greece has put more CO2 in the atmosphere in 24 hours than humans have in their entire existence." This post received over 20,000 likes in 5 days. Good grief. This is wrong on a multiple fronts. There have been no recent volcanic eruptions in Greece, and humans produce 100 times more carbon dioxide per year than all the volcanoes in the world combined. Now, I trust NASA, so when I went there for confirmation, this is what they said: human contributions to the carbon cycle are more than 100 times those from all the volcanoes in the world combined, according to a NASA article. Human activities emit a Mount St. Helens-sized eruption of CO2 every 2.5 hours. Wow. So here's the link if you really want to get into it, and I think I've got that link here. Let me see if I can bring it up. Oops. Can I scooch it over? Oh, I always press wrong buttons when I try to do this. There it is. So there's the link. What do volcanoes have to do with climate change? And it's a global climate change, and it's a NASA article. So that link is available if you want to look it up. All right, so moving right along. Due to some plans or hopes to visit a volcano on an upcoming third trip to Iceland, although I do not wish to stand on its edge if it's erupting, all volcano talk inspired some internet sleuthing on volcanoes, on mountain fountains if you are 10 years old, and of course the active ones are more interesting at a distance. There are volcanoes all around our solar system. Besides Earth, the moons of Jupiter, Saturn, and Neptune all have active volcanoes. There's the one of, I think that's Jupiter. I'm not sure where that one is, actually. NASA's New Horizons spacecraft, Jupiter, zipped past Jupiter, catching Io, the planet's third largest moon, enduring a volcanic explosion. Locked in a perpetual tug-of-war between the imposing gravity of Jupiter and the smaller, consistent poles of its neighboring moons, Io's distorted orbit causes it to flex as it swoops around the gas giant. The stretching causes friction, and these heat and the intense heat inside Io's interior, sparking massive eruptions across its surface. Images snapped by spacecraft's high-resolution telescope camera now show a 200-mile plume spewing from the Tavstar volcano in Io's northern hemisphere. Now, another super interesting feature on Io is that the force of Jupiter's gravity on it causes tides in its own rocky crust, making the entire surface rise and fall about 100 meters. With that sort of tidal pull on Earth, this would be a regular scene. Can you imagine? Look at that. Wow, that's how much strength is in those. On a dormant volcano on Big Island, Hawaii, there is a Subaru Asher Star Telescope co-owned by the National Astronomical Observatory of Japan and Japanese news agency Asahi Shimbun. On January the 18th, it captured a spiral-shaped light in the sky. This, right over there. Isn't that odd? Wow. So, on an eerily perfect whirlpool of light in the shape of a spiral galaxy briefly appeared in the night sky above Hawaii. But what was it? And here's a close-up of it. So there it is there. It turns out the spinning spiral was composed of frozen rocket fuel that was ejected during a SpaceX launch. Now, here's an actual fascinating video of the moment, but watching closely, what is even more astonishing is the amount of satellites that are zipping by. Now, let's have a look at this. I'm going to make that big so you can see it, and then I'm going to play that video. Just keep an eye on it. I'll start it from the beginning, sorry.
Oh, amazing.
That's the whole sequence. Now this is time lapse. Now watch this. Here it comes. You can see it right here. So once you've seen it, it just becomes slightly larger, and then it goes into this spiral. The blob turns into the spiral shape right here, and then eventually blows off some gas by the looks of it, and it just dissipates, which is what it does. But what Rosanna was saying, as cool as that is, look at all those satellites.
Yeah.
Wow. Unbelievable, hey? All right, let me get rid of that one. Okay, so that was that part. So here is so whether you are exploring the sky from on top of the Earth volcano or researching an interstellar erupting one, I just gotta say I love volcanoes. No need to worry about the volcano; it's not very active.
Your jokes are almost as bad as yours, Paul.
Huh?
Your jokes are almost as bad as yours.
I know, I love it.
Rosanna's Fun Fact.
Hey!
She just every week she just surprises me every time with a new one, and they're better than the one before.
Awesome. Yeah.
A crazy whirlpool, though. That'd be something to see in photograph.
Something?
That's cool.
Yeah, and to see that in itself would have been crazy. But that's all those satellites up there, and right where that observatory's sitting. So they're trying to do, observations.
I'm sure the conspiracy theorists would have had a heyday.
Yeah, it's like the 401 up there on a traffic jam with all those satellites.
Wow.
And that's only a small fraction of what's going to be up there.
Another 12,000 going up yet. So
yeah. Anyway.
Well, thank you, Rosanna. Another awesome presentation. Thank you.
Yes.
Okay, how about we get this a few photos that we got, and then we'll sign off. Let me get my notes up here. Up and going. Takes me a minute. I can only open so many windows at once, but
Next slide.
next slide. Yeah. Okay, let's bring this one over. Come on. Okay, a few photos to share. Let me share my screen. Check. Okay, good there.
Yep.
Okay, so this one's from Derek King. Zoom out a little bit.
Yeah, there you go.
And Derek says, "Hey, Chris, hope all is well. Heading out bowling, and the thin sliver of the moon with the clouds caught my eye. Took this January 24th around 6 p.m. Going to guess, sort of. I did try to look it up that we have Jupiter with it. You certainly do. Nice shot.
Yep.
Done, Derek. Thanks for that. This is from Brad Perry.
Oh, the comet.
Brad says, "Hi, Chris. Here's my capture of Comet C22 or 2022 E3 ZTF from Sunday, January 22nd, around 2:50 a.m. He's using a Sony A6000 with an inexpensive Canon 75 to 300 millimeter lens and Ioptron Skyguider Pro. 130-second shots, f5.6, ISO 1600, stacked in Deep Sky Stacker and edited in Photoshop.
Nice.
So that's 100 shots at 30 seconds. So people are having trouble to see the comet. Please understand this part. this is stacking images on top of each other. This is why we're getting such good views. But even through a scope, you're not going to see it like that. Your eyeballs just won't store photons like that. But good shot, Brad. Thank you. David Samard, his moon from January 25th.
Nice.
Done. Very nice. A little bit of moonshine there.
What's above it?
Shine, sorry, not moonshine.
Jupiter.
That'd be Jupiter, yeah.
Very nice.
Very nice.
I'm going to go from there to the next. Mercedes McGinley. Now he said, I saw this in the sky a few nights ago. He was in Lower Maine. I'm not sure what it was. I thought it might have been an airplane light or even the moon. But then I also saw the moon elsewhere. Also, the moon doesn't light down like this. Please help. So I think Lisa can probably comment on this. In New Jersey, they had another launch from
Rocket launch, yeah.
Virginia. Yeah, from Virginia. Sorry, from Rocket Labs. And this is, I believe, what he was seeing from that location. So
Right on. That would be cool to see too.
That's a great
Yeah.
sight. Right?
great,
Yeah.
great quality, yeah. So I'm pretty sure that's what the answer is for that one. But thank you for sending those in.
Nice.
Nice
Uh,
capture.
There's another second capture by Brad Perry. He says, hi, Chris. Here's my second crack at the comet taken over the course of Saturday, the 28th, between 1 a.m. and 6 a.m. Wow, a lot of time. This time I went for a wider field view of 135 millimeter, and this is the stack of the best 177 of 296 1-minute exposures.
Wow.
Oh, nice
Crazy.
job.
Yeah, nice job.
Yep, looks good. You can really see that green, the green, what do they call it now? The green comet?
Green comet, yeah.
Yeah.
Cyanogen and diatomic.
Wow.
A nice tail. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. Nice
Yeah.
job.
very nice. Thanks, Brad. Either one of you guys able to bring up Deep Sky Observatory's little video there? I might show that.
Let's see if I can find it. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Jeff Dalton sent this one in. Or actually, I got this one from Jeff. Anyway, I took this on January 26th. It cleared off around 4 a.m. and I got a few hours of observing and photographing in. I could just barely make it out with my naked eye. This photo isn't too spectacular since my DSLR is old as the hills are full of noise and I have no tracking mount. But I could notice the comet moving when I would compare its position with where it was a while earlier, something I was not able to do or expecting to notice in such a short time span. So yeah, because the comet is getting so much closer to us, we're seeing it moving a lot faster across our sky now, right?
Yeah.
It's still moving same speed, but it's just because it's getting closer to us. So
I
great
have
shot.
Tim's up there whenever you want, Chris.
Thank you. This Jeff. Thank you, Jeff. Here's one from, I think this is from Kurt. Yeah, Kurt Daniel Jobs, captured using a smartphone and a small monocular telescope.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow, nice.
That's awesome.
Got that green comet, no question. Beautiful.
Yeah. Good stuff, Kurt.
Yeah.
Robert Gadet's capture of the comet here. Nice, Robert.
Very nice.
Well done. So
Nice
start.
capture.
And they're going to go from there to Carol Bean's capture of the comet from St. Stephen area.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Nice shot.
Right up by M40, Mike.
Yeah.
There it is. Yeah.
She said, just got this from my front doorstep. She said, F.9, ISO 5000, 70 to 200 millimeter lens at 200 millimeter.
Oh, very nice.
20 shots, 20 seconds. This one's from Michael Derengowski. Michael says, I saw it the other day. It was looking nice. So there's another capture. Not sure what he was using for gear, but
Through his eyepiece.
shot on Moto G power. Yeah, I'm not sure. Through his eyepiece.
Yeah, it looks like an eyepiece projection.
Oh, cool. You got her.
Nice.
Yeah,
Yeah,
good.
nice job.
Well, this one's from Devin McGoldrick. He said, I seen the moon. I'm cold, though. In this particular scope, I had to kneel on the ground, but it's my first attempt at a picture. So there you go.
Awesome.
There, beautiful, nice capture.
That's it. That's what it's all
Well
about.
done.
Yeah.
You're hooked.
Now you get a memory. Yeah.
Yeah.
So keep at it. It only gets better. A lot more fun. Good stuff. Okay, this is from Chris Brenwa. Chris's Horsehead Nebula, Skywatcher star. No, I'm sorry. Yes, it is Horsehead. Yeah. He did this one, little comparison, old footage from 2021. He said Horsehead, a Nikon D3200 without a filter, or without modification, like that astronomic
Astronomic hydrogen alpha filter.
alpha filter. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice
Very
comparison.
nice.
Yep.
Well done. And his other one here, the Horsehead Skywatcher Star Adventure Celestron 80 AZS Power Seeker. Not a very big scope. Astronomic H alpha filter, lights and darks for 45 seconds, bias ISO 800, Canon 40D mounted. Nicely done.
That
Yes,
never gets
done.
old, eh?
Yeah.
No, never.
There's hydrogen alpha there.
Nicely done, Chris.
Very good.
And Kathy, of course, look at this. Yeah, she's
That
just
never gets old, eh?
Yeah.
moonshot, just incredible. Last night's moon, she said.
Nice detail.
You can come right into that and still get lots of detail.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it looks really good.
It's amazing shots. And her
Here's our
Jupiter.
our little friend the bear.
There.
Yeah.
Nice job.
Nice job. And David Hoskin here with the capture of the comet. Comet
Is that a
C22.
video or is that just a single shot?
That's a single shot.
Yeah, because I thought he did a time lapse or something.
He
Green,
did, but if I recall, yeah.
green colored ultraviolet excitation of a diatomic carbon is prominent and short, broad tail is visible. Captured with an ASI 533 MC Pro and L Pro filter on a Celestron Omni XLT 150 reflector. Subs 11 by 2 minutes plus calibration frames were stacked in DSS in Comet mode. Post-process, Photoshop and Photoscape X.
Oh, did a nice job, eh?
Yeah. That core is nice and bright.
Yeah.
There's Robert Orion. Robert does a fantastic job, Orion.
Yeah.
Yep.
So much in that, right? Just beautiful.
Oh, it's a great target.
Thanks, Robert. There's nothing else you can touch with that one. That's just everything right there.
Oh, it speaks for itself. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And if you'd like to send in your photos, we love getting them right here. You can send them into astronomybythebay@gmail.com. That's where I'm trying to collect all the photos now. If you had sent some to Sunday Night Astronomy Show, I might have missed them this week. I'll get them next week, but trying to direct everybody to this one address so I can get them all in one spot. So astronomybythebay@gmail.com.
So before we blast off, Chris, you had some really nice sunrise pictures, eh? Sunrise or sunset?
Sunset.
Sunset, yeah. I don't think I can bring them up. I can't bring them up on Facebook because I would lose the live feed.
Yeah. But in any event, just what was, I would imagine most of the people that are on these channels saw them, but I just want to comment on them because they were really, really nice.
You know what I did? I was out with my tripod. I did a live feed of the sunset, and I said, "I'll sign off." I turned the camera around like that, and I just kind of zoomed in a little bit and click. So it was only 4 shots from the cell phone, but
It's crazy. Just crystal clear shots.
thank
They
you
were
very much.
beautiful. Yeah.
Allow me to share my screen. I'm going to show you the comet taken by
Compliment come from you guys. Thanks.
the Deep Sky Eye Observatory.
Oh, Tim Doucette.
Tim Doucette's.
Yeah. He captured it with his C14 using a Hyperstar, I guess.
You can see it there.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I'll play.
Oh yeah, look at that.
Isn't that something else?
That's unbelievable.
Yeah, I did an amazing capture there.
Yeah.
There's so much detail in there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yes,
The
sir.
tail, you could really see the tail in certain areas there. You can see it.
Just peeling off here too, almost, right?
Yeah.
Dave, pushing back on it.
Just unbelievable.
How quick it's moving though. Amazing.
Fantastic.
Anyway, well done, Tim.
For sure.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, then before we close out tonight, we want to mention our talk for next week. We're going to try to start doing that now, so you get an idea where we're headed. A lot of folks out there have a reflector style telescope, which is one like this, right? With the mirror in the bottom. Those ones. And it's a very popular one for beginners as well. A lot of people get their scopes at Canadian Tire or whatever, the Celestron brand, but views through those can be a little bit tough too. So we're going to take a look at how to collimate and what that's all about. So we did discuss it. Maybe we'll talk about cleaning them at the same time. So we're going to pretend we're taking a mirror out of a telescope and cleaning it all and putting it back in, and how we get it all set up again so that both mirrors are looking at each other properly. so we don't have a defocus. There you go.
Make sure you get that SOS pad.
Oh, we're not going to do that. Not this week. Okay. So in closing, we want to thank once again for your continued support of our efforts out of all of you joining us here. Also, special thanks as well to Rosanna for her continued contributions to our program. Rosanna, we couldn't be doing it here without you. We really do appreciate it. It was a great, interesting story. Thank you, Rosanna.
Always are. Always are.
Always. I also hope that all of you who joined us from the Rogers Network enjoyed the program here this evening. If you would like more information about the wonders of the night sky, you can reach me at astronomybythebay.ca. Also, a special thanks to all of you who share our program. We really appreciate it. And remember, we do love getting your photos, so send them into astronomybythebay@gmail.com. We'll be happy to include them in our next broadcast. If you have any ideas for a future show, please let us know as well at the same address. We're always looking for ideas. We're trying to bring ideas to you that you're looking for. Please let your friends and family know too that we'll be back here next Sunday night at the same time at 8 p.m. on YouTube and Facebook to edutain you on astronomy and the wonders of the night sky. So for now then, from Mike and Paul and I, please have a safe week, everybody. Lots of clear skies. Maybe Tuesday, Wednesday, you might still have a chance at that comet. So just keep looking.
Yeah.
Like to say, open your eyes to view the skies and keep your scopes pointed up.
Yep.
Thanks, everyone. Okay. Everyone.